Good evening, everyone. This is going to be another analysis of Peter Revesz, and the attention that I was drawn into this paper was through Learn Hittite. He is a person who I follow on YouTube, and I want to thank him because otherwise I wouldn't have drawn into this paper. So this paper actually studies the combination of Sumerian connections to Hungarian and the Ugric language. Actually, I was defending this theory that Sumerian was an Uralic and Altaic branch, and that it came from somewhere in Central Asia. But Peter Revesz actually doesn't state anything about Turkic or anything about the Central Asian roots here. Instead, he talks about the Uralic and Ugric influences in Sumerian. But anyway, this is actually one step towards my theory, and I am really thankful about having this proof. So he also draws attention to the Minoan language, but for this I want to analyze this in another video. So first, how did Sumerian get into this kind of language connection? Let's study this. He also talks about the Greek language being not Indo-European, but a hybrid language which derived later into Indo-European. That's actually one theory that I also discussed, because do you remember my videos about the Greek colonizations in the Black Sea region, where the Scythians spoke their Tatar language? So I most probably think that Greek got its roots there. So Protogreek got its roots from the Scythian language, from the Tatar language, the ancient Tatar language, and later it derived into Indo-European. And I also think that the Mediterranean played an important role here, because it was full of Semitic languages in those areas. If you consider North Africa and the Proto-Arab Semitic languages, so there I think Greek got fused, most probably. So let's turn back to Sumerian. Peter says that Sumerian belongs to different language families. He thinks that Sumerian has both Dravidian influences and Hungarian influences. I must also say that Sumerian has also Turkish and Turkic, actually Chuvash influences, because I analyzed a paper about this last year, which I shared with you. So Sumerian very much, I think, got its roots from the West Turkic and Uralic families. That's what I can say. Hungarian, of course, is another factor. Anything else? Also, I would like to mention that Finno-Ugric vocabulary is very close to the old Turkic vocabulary. Do you remember I analyzed another paper from Peter Revesz where I talked about the statue and the combination of Greek vocabulary and Finno-Ugric vocabulary, etc. And there I added also Turkic vocabulary. So also in Old Finnish and Old Turkish, we can see the combination. Actually, it is not mentioned here, but I want to add this whenever possible. So here are my own thoughts, which are mentioned there. Peter divides Sumerian into Emesal and Emegir dialects, and he says again, and I'm summarizing it, that Sumerian was affected by Dravidian and Uralic language trees, language families. So there was another scholar, and he classified the Sumerian language into the Euphratic languages. So Euphratic languages are actually Anatolian languages. That's what I would say. I think that they are northeastern Anatolian languages. That's what I would say. But okay, I wouldn't call it Euphratic. I would directly say it is Sumerian. So here there are lots of vocabulary compared. I'm skipping the vocabulary because I don't understand Hungarian and Finnish, etc., and Minoan. But it has definitely a relation with Greek, with Proto-Greek, and of course with Minoan. I have to say that I have to study Minoan and make my own ideas on this. For now, I only can transfer the thoughts of Peter Revesz here. So another thing is that I underlined it. It says, the Greek and Sumerian word pairs in Table 1 do not indicate direct borrowings from Sumerian to Greek, but parallel borrowings from a Uralic substrate that pre-existed in Anatolia. So definitely Anatolian languages influenced Minoan, Greek, and Sumerian. So here I would say Proto-Turkic plays a role here. Most probably also the region played an important role, and it had also Proto-Turkic vocabulary here. I mean, in the Anatolian region. Another thing that I would mention is, it says here, there was a West Ugric language that was a common origin to Proto-Hungarian, Proto-Minoan, and Proto-Sumerian. And I want to add that this language was the Proto-Bulgar, the Chuvash language, which was the ancient language of all this area. And here he starts actually um, comparing all the vocabulary, I wrote down some Turkish versions of the vocabulary here. I wish I knew Old Turkic in order to compare all the vocabulary, but just some of them. We have, for example, the most important ones. When we say father, we have atya in Hungarian, we have ata in Turkish. In Finnish, it is ette, and in Sumerian, it is atta. And then we have the same for mother, which is in Hungarian anya. In Turkish, it is ana. In Syrian and also in Greek, it is similar. And in Sumerian, it is ama. And it goes on like this. I'm skipping most of the words here because there are many words given. We have, for example, water, which is in Hungarian eső. In Turkish, the E drops and we have su. In Mansi, we have is. And in Sumerian, it is es or esh. I think it is esh. So, similar, as I said. And it goes on like this. Right. Another example here. For bend, we have in Hungarian fordul. In Turkish, it is bük. You see the consonants here. In Uralic or Finno-Ugric languages, we have por, porjal. And in Sumerian, it is buru, right? So you see the similarity. It resembles actually some vocabulary here. And then we have to destroy. Okay, it is actually die. In Hungarian, it is hal. In Turkish, it is öl. In the Uralic languages, it is kul or kule or kala, kal. So the K dropped in Turkish, or the H dropped in Turkish. And in Sumerian, it is hulu, right? So the same thing goes for fish. We have hal. In Turkish, we have balık. Kule in Finnish, kole, kul, and ku in Sumerian. And then we have for go, halad, a shifting of consonants. Then we have koyel or kulke in Finnish for go, and kul for Sumerian. Actually, I would say gel is also something in Turkish which would say to come here, where you also go. But I wrote down git, but also gel would be possible here. And I know the ancient form of gel or git is kel with a K. That's what I know in Old Turkish. So it goes on like this. I'm skipping the similarity here, but you see also with Turkish, it is halfway similar, I would say, right? So here I'm going on. I mean, it goes on here. Yes. The reason I wrote down, for example, kush for bird is to show you how the dropping of one consonant changes in the R Turkish. The most original form of bird in Turkish was most probably ending with R, like in Hungarian or in Sumerian. But later it changed into kush. Um, do you remember I talked to you about the Lir Turkish and the Z Turkish? So the R Turkish is most probably the dur and tar or tare or turi, ending with R. And the Z or sh was later the later form of Turkish. So the R form actually here was in Western Turkish, in Western Turkic, like in Chuvash or Proto-Bulgar. That's what I wanted to say here. Notice how similar it is to say and. We have, for example, hangya in Hungarian. We have kashke in Mansi. We have kishi in Sumerian. And in Turkish it is karunca, right? You see the similarity here. The same goes for tail. Tail is hanyat, kunst, and kun in Sumerian, Uralic, and Hungarian, and in Turkish it is kuyruk. It goes on like this. Yes. So, very nice comparison here. I thank Peter for this analysis, for this study, and I also would like to thank the person who showed me this PDF. So here we have all the similarities. So this makes me think that definitely there was a bridge, a language bridge, which led to Sumerian. Definitely it went through Anatolia, or a very close area through Anatolia that led to Sumerian. So, as Peter says, it started from the Urals. It went through most probably parts of Anatolia, and then Euphrates, and from there to Iraq, most probably, and there were all Uralic speaking people there, as I claimed before, because the Proto-Huns had their tablets found in Syria. So how the hell got these tablets there? I mean, that's a question mark. Yes, another word. Okay, actually, it would be hours, lasting for hours to compare these endless words. But one word I would like to share with you is song, or word. In Turkish, we have şarkı, söz. And it is very, very similar to Sumerian şumunsha, you say, for example. In Greek, most probably it is very close to Hungarian, the pronunciation, and saw in Mansi language. We have, for example, extract, or you give birth. In Hungarian, it is szül. When you let go, in Turkish, we say, for example, salmak, sal, and it is actually the same. Um, Also in Sumerian, zal, and it goes on. Also in Hungarian, we have tal for bowl. In Turkish, we have tas. In Mansi, we have tul, and utul in Sumerian. So somewhere in Turkish, it's changed into s, and it goes on like this. Yes, another thing that I want to mention here, it gave me the idea that when we say, for example, woman, in Hungarian you use ük, and that gave me somehow, I don't know how it gave me this idea, but I wanted to share it with you. Ur and uruk could be of Hungarian origin. I mean, in Sumer, the cities' names, because I definitely remember that I once said and I claimed that most probably Ur and Uruk were Uralic cities' origin, that it stemmed from the Uralic language. So it goes on like this. And here it gives a chart on the connection between ancient Greek, Sumerian, and Hungarian, that it is Uralic. And you see how the effect of Finno-Ugric is shown here. So Sumerian and ancient Greek is definitely not Indo-European. I mean, Sumerian definitely not, but ancient Greek was also not Indo-European. That's what I claimed. Later, somewhere in the Mediterranean, it fused with most probably Semitic languages, and there it went crazy, most probably. So here it goes on with comparisons. I can share with you the PDF of Peter Revesz, and you can make your own idea on this. Yes. Why did I share the word for needle as delik? Because delik is actually a hole. It means hole in Turkish. And in Sumerian it is buluk. Another word that I wanted to share with you is the word for grass. We have most probably sö in Hungarian. Sorry if I mispronounce words in Hungarian. And in Turkish we have saman. This is when you sow the grass. And in Sumerian it is sumunun or shumunun. And here it goes on. Okay, and now here it talks about the Emesal Ugric and Emegir Dravidian. And it gives the dialects of Sumerian. It had two major dialects according to Peter Revesz. Yes, and here he gives the reasons why it had two dialects, because of the words that it shared. And here it gives actually the vocabulary here. If you have a look, for example, at Emegir 3, which is gesh. It is very close to arch in Turkish, not to katu in Tamil. If I were Peter, I would get help from Turkish speakers and compare it with Turkish instead of Tamil, because here, when we have, for example, gesh as an Emegir dialect for Sumerian, and it is closer to arch rather than katu in Tamil, because arch means tree in Turkish. And most probably Turkish got a suffix, no, Turkish got a prefix in front of rach or rash, which was arach or arash. That's what I think. So Peter Revesz should definitely get help from Turkish speakers who know the language well, in order to fulfill his studies to Sumerian. He lacks the Turkish scholars here. That's what I would do. I would rather not only look at Uralic stems, but also Altaic stems, which is of course also Turkic. I think it would be enough if you have a Proto-Bulgarian or Chuvash speaker, or also Turkish speaker who knows Old Turkish, in order to compare the language that is connected with Sumerian. Yes, so I would add then that Sumerian has features from both Uralic and Dravidian, and also from the Turkish Altaic branch. And here it goes on. Okay, there is another language family now, which is Euphratic, and Euphratic is most probably the part where the language was spoken close to the Levant. Yes, I mean in near Syria. That's maybe the area where Euphratic was spoken. So I would rather call it Sumerian. And I would come to the conclusion that Sumerian was a fusion language, or a fusional language, which stems from the Ural Altaic word family, which had Dravidian vocabulary influences, but mostly had the word structure and the sentence structure from Ural Altaic, that means from Hungarian and Turkic. That's what I would claim here. And in between, somewhere, there is Minoan and Greek. Yes, that's what I would say. And here it goes on. Also, it talks about the consonants that change here, from S to Sh or Z. I'm skipping this part because it would be too long if I get into the details here. Here you see actually how the consonants shift. How they change from H to K or from F to B, for example. Right, so this is actually very logical in languages. So I'm skipping this part because it's all about vocabulary comparison. Here we have, for example, one word which I wrote down. When you say, for example, burn in Hungarian, you say egg, and in Turkish it is yak. Also, when you hide something or when you bury something, you say in Sumerian zeg, and in Turkish it is saklamak. So most probably Sumerian influenced Turkish here, because it is the proto-language also of partly Turkish, I would say. So can I claim then that maybe Turkish also was under the effect of the Anatolian languages when it came to this region? Likely, most probably being influenced by, so it is a Ural-Altaic language, but when we look at the Anatolian languages, they also had certain vocabulary from Minoan and Sumerian, and this formed the Proto-Greek language. But Proto-Greek in itself is not the language that it claims to be. It is not a European language. It is not definitely not Indo-European. So it is closer to Ural-Altaic, or let's say Finno-Ugric. That's what Peter says. So why wouldn't it be true? I mean, it can be possible because they had their connections with the Scythians, and that's what I always claimed. I said Greek is not an Indo-European language because it had subject, object, verb structure. Later it's fused. Okay, and here we also have Sumerian. So Greek was also under the Sumerian effect then. Yes. Why is this so? Because Sumerian and also the Uralic languages are agglutinative. That's one thing. And also there are certain common features. And this is also in Minoan, it says here. My dear friends, I have to make a research on Minoan and Anatolian languages in order to make my own conclusion. So okay. Another example I would like to give you is there was a word called faluk and kapuk, which is most probably, I don't know, maybe either in Hungarian or Sumerian, but I think it is the Hungarian language, because here it says they appear in the oldest Hungarian language documents. If you have a look at kapuk and kapı in Turkish, you see the similarity here, which is gate in Hungarian, and it is the same, almost the same in Turkish. The same with other vocabulary. We have, for example, halak for fish, and in Turkish it is balık. Only a slight shift. And then we have, for example, lonak, and we have ayak in Turkish. So here it goes on with the symbols. And also another comparison here. Okay. And it shows the assimilation here, but these are the words that are very similar in Turkish. I'm skipping them because otherwise it would be again 1 hour. So another thing that it says, that the Old Hungarian alphabet has a strong connection with the Minoan symbols. So if the Old Hungarian alphabet has a strong connection with the Minoan symbols, this also means that the Turkic runic alphabet has a strong connection with the Minoan symbols as well. And if Minoan is a West Ugric branch of the Uralic language, this means that Old Chuvash and Old Proto-Bulgar is also in this connection. So definitely the family trees from the Western scholars are wrong. Now I'm questioning everything. I'm suspicious about everything. Okay, here it goes on with the summary. As we said, Greek and Hungarian has parallels. And if it has parallels, that means Greek is not an Indo-European language in original. It was not an Indo-European language because you see it has lots of Turkish words. It took lots of Turkish words. It took lots of Persian words. It took lots of Hungarian words. So if Greek took lots of Hungarian words, it is definitely not an Indo-European language. I mean, why are they boasting to be the civilization of Europe? I mean, they are not Indo-European in their original form. So, if you have a look at Minoan and related Hattic language, it belongs to the Ural-Altaic family, it says here. Okay, as I said, I have to study this because I also have to study the Hatti language and the Minoan language in order to make a comparison. So, as a conclusion, Peter says here, Greek is a descendant from both Indo-European and Uralic, while Sumerian has both Dravidian and Uralic ancestors. So I partly agree with Peter here. I also think that Greek is a fusion of the original language that it had, and later it changed into today's Greek because of the Semitic influence. That's what I think. Um, Also about Sumerian, I think that it has Uralic, but also Altaic ancestry, um, because I strongly think that it also has Western Turkic origin, um, and that makes it actually both Hungarian and Turkic at the same time, with later an effect of Dravidian. Yes, because of the region, because of the geography. So, uh, an important thing to note here is that Western, okay, Western Ugric had existed before Sumerian. So this means that the Ugric family tree is the oldest, not the Ugric, the Uralic, the Ugric, the Altaic, the Turkic family tree is one of the oldest family trees. And Sumerian came into being about 5,000 years ago. That's what I think. And if this is the case, Western Ugric, etc., and this language branch and the related language branches that I mentioned before, they must have had at least a 10,000 year past. At least. Okay, so Peter says here that Sumerian and Minoan became separate languages. Maybe Minoan has to do something with Anatolian. I'm not sure. As I said, I have to study Hattic, the Hattic language, and the Minoan language, because it says Minoan and the related Hattic language. So Minoan and Hattic is related. I have to study this. I haven't studied it yet. So this must be my homework. Okay. Another important thing that Peter touches on is the separation of the Ugric languages from the rest of the Uralic family tree. They must have occurred between 3000 and 2000 BC, the separation. Okay, the most important part is this one. I hope you can see this. I have to. No, you can't see it. Can you see the top where it says Uralic? Right. And here I wrote down, with Uralic, you also need to study the Altaic and the Turkic effects, because alone they don't exist. So in here, can you see, it says here Indo-European. So the family tree goes like this. On top there is Uralic, and it splits into Finno-Ugric, right? It splits into Finno-Ugric and Samoyedic. That means the Siberian languages. So Uralic is also Siberian. The Altaic is also Siberian. Turkic is Siberian. And there it splits again into Finno and then Ugric and then Selkup, etc., etc. So these are all the Siberian ancient languages. That's what I claim, actually. And then there is another branch coming up with West Ugric and Ob Ugric and Kamasan, etc. Okay. And last, towards Anatolia, towards West Asia, towards the Levant and towards the Fertile Crescent. As you come towards this area, again there is a split into Minoan, into Hattic, into Euphratic, right? And here I think if you mention Hungarian, if you mention West Ugric, etc., you must also mention Etruscan and Proto-Bulgar and Chuvash, because without Etruscan, without Proto-Bulgar, without the old Chuvash language, you would not have the outcome of Minoan. You would not have the outcome of Hattic, even maybe not Hungarian, and definitely not Euphratic and Sumerian. Okay, and before Sumerians' last touch was given, it of course formed the Dravidian language. So the Dravidian language actually comes at the last step. Like Greek turning into Indo-European, Sumerian became Dravidian only later. That's what I claim. But mostly I can say to 80% I agree with the family tree of Peter Revesz. And the conclusion, we can say here, Sumerian is definitely not a language isolate. They claim that it is a language isolate, but it is the combination of at least, I would say, two big, okay, this is what Peter says, two big major language families. I definitely agree that it is not a language isolate. It was a Uralic, Altaic family branch with the same structure, with the Uralic Altaic language family structure, as I said, but with lots of vocabulary from the regions that it was affected by. We can say then it was affected by Proto-Hungarian, I said not Proto-Hungarian, but maybe Proto-Turkish, Proto-Turkic, Hattic, Minoan, Chuvash, Proto-Chuvash, Bulgar, Proto-Hungarian, even Etruscan. Now I think Etruscan came later, but I'm not sure about that. Yeah, but the area, you see, is actually Anatolian. So Anatolian languages, the vocabulary that was spoken in Anatolia definitely affected Sumerian, whatever the language was called then. So definitely Sumerian got under the effect of this language family. So it was one big language family having lots of effects from also the Hindu Kush and the area where the Euphrates and the Fertile Crescent thrived. So definitely those vocabulary. Okay, so we can say then, last, hopefully Sumerian will shed a major light on the origins and prehistory of languages in general. Yes, I hope that we will see this in the near future. And I thank Peter Revesz and also the 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 Learn Hittite YouTube account that gave me the hint to study this paper. So next, what I'm going to do is I have to study more on the proto-languages of the Anatolian, Hatti and Minoan languages. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you liked it. And till then, good night.